Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dippin Diesel channel. Today we are finally going to put the bigger turbo on this truck here. We're gonna get rid of this puny HX35 turbo and we are gonna go ahead and put on S364.5. You guys know this turbo was on my last truck, and the only reason why we're able to go ahead and throw this turbo on the truck right now is because with an HX35 turbo and that Borg-Warner turbo is they have different downpipes. You have to get the HX40 downpipe for the Borg-Warner, and what's on there right now is the HX35. The downpipes are a lot different. The Borg-Warner has a V-band style. This just has a little, I guess coupler style, one bolt on each side. So Diamond Eye, my buddies over at Diamond Eye, they hooked it up with a 5-inch exhaust. Let me tell you what, this thing is gonna sound dirty. So this is the stock downpipe that comes with pretty much any exhaust, unless you get the specific one for the HX40 downpipe, which I went ahead and I have an HX40 downpipe right here. So this is a 4-inch downpipe and the rest is 5-inch. I have a 4 to 5-inch adapter, and they also threw in 8-inch tip. I've never ran a tip on my truck before. You guys know my last truck, it used to have a 4-inch exhaust side exit, and then I went to a 4 to 8-inch diamond stack out the bed, and then I traded that stack for a 5-inch exhaust, and I love the sound of a 5-inch exhaust, and that's why I got another 5-inch exhaust. This is the aluminized version. You can get stainless steel, but for the climate here in Alabama, there's no really need to get a stainless because it's not really gonna rust at all. If you guys are up north, you may wanna spend a little bit of extra money on the stainless version so it doesn't rust as fast. I think stainless isn't even supposed to rust. So if you guys are up in those northern climates, you may wanna look at getting a stainless exhaust, but aluminized will work perfectly fine for me in this Alabama climate. So we have the full 5-inch exhaust, 5 to 8-inch tip. Never ran a tip on my truck before. So this is gonna be interesting. I've never really liked tips. I kind of like just the straight out exhaust like this. This has a stupid little stock tip, but yeah, this is gonna turn out really sick. This kit actually came with a muffler. I don't really want to put the muffler on there, but if I do have to make this fit, it does come with two long, those are probably 2.5, 3 foot sections. From the downpipe to these two sections to over the axle and then out the back isn't long enough. I may have to install that muffler right there just until I get another whatever size section of 5-inch pipe I need for it. So we'll go ahead and see what it sounds like with the muffler if I do end up putting that on. Hopefully I don't, but I may have to. And then we also have the box full of hardware. You got the clamps in here, the exhaust hangers. You got the 5 to 4-inch exhaust adapter, and then also the tip. So before we even touch the exhaust, we're gonna go ahead and unbolt this turbo, get it swapped out. It'll make it easier because we gotta unbolt this anyway right here. So we'll unbolt this, unbolt the turbo, take the intercooler tubes out and stuff like that, and then we'll hop onto the exhaust once we get that turbo swapped out. Stay tuned. All right, taking that turbo off took way longer than it should have. I'm pretty sure last time the same problem was giving me problems, and that's why I took the exhaust manifold off last time I took the turbo off of my other truck. I didn't want to take that exhaust manifold off just because I don't have any new gaskets, and it'd just be a bigger pain to take that all off and then have to put it all back on. But the turbo is in 3 pieces. Got the flange that connects to the exhaust, got the main compression housing with all the wheels and everything like that, and this stud right here is all the way behind. You can't get a wrench, you could barely get a wrench on it. My wrench was really way too long. Had to use a crescent wrench. It probably took me about an hour to get that thing off just because this is all in the way. A whole bunch of stuff in the way, can't get a socket, really hard to get in there. You got like 3 or 4 inches of play to actually loosen it, which getting all up in here all the way down. The end of the wrench is all the way over here, and it's really hard to get leverage to be able to break that free. But we got that turbo off finally. I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and drop the exhaust real quick. We'll throw the new turbo on, and I think that's gonna be it for the day. We'll come back tomorrow and install the Diamond Eye 5-inch exhaust. I'll leave the link down below to where you can find this out. I'll link the exact part number for a 2001 truck, or I'll just link their website. You can go on there. They got exhausts for all kinds of makes and models. They got 4-inch, they got 5-inch, and there's a whole bunch of different things you can add to. You can add a muffler delete. If you have a cat on your truck, they have one that has a cat delete, stuff like that. But yeah, we'll probably install this kit tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this exhaust. Probably gonna have to get an angle grinder because I don't have a Sawzall. So let's go ahead and get this exhaust off and get this spaceship out of here, dude. This thing is huge, way unnecessary. I wish all trucks came with straight pipes, because you can't have a diesel and not straight pipe it. The best sounding, most American sounding noise there is a straight pipe diesel. So let's go ahead and get to work, and hopefully we can do this before the sun goes down. All right, guys, the old spaceship is out. This thing was definitely not getting me to Mars. That straight pipe from Diamond Eye definitely will get me to freaking Mars. But I didn't show you guys this, but the tire on my tractor said I'm gonna leave chat real quick. So I gotta get a new tire for this tractor, but went ahead and cut this pasture. It was super thick, way thicker than it was last time I cut this thing. Been burning a bunch of branches for him as well. This was really thick. I only did this one section. I kind of just went around all the tree limbs that were falling on the ground, but I had to stop because that tire kind of gave out. I got to buy a new tractor tire for that thing. But it is time to go ahead and throw this turbo on. Let's see if I can get it with one hand up into this engine bay. That little tiny thing compared to this thing. Let's get it, boys and girls, if there are any girls watching. I don't know if there are, but let's see if we can get this thing mounted up with one hand. Might have to put this camera down, but let's see. Oh, god dang. Forgot one crucial thing, and it is the new gasket. Would have done all that work for nothing. I gotta put this thing down just for sake of making it easier. Why tire myself out when I'll just go ahead and do it like this. This turbo is a little bit easier to get on and off because it doesn't have that part of the exhaust housing on the turbo that gets in the way. And the where did that bolt go? And on the top studs, it has a Allen or a hex key at the top, so you can just hold a wrench on the bottom of these and just screw it from the top. So it's a way better design than the stock turbo. All right, the turbo is in from the other truck into this truck. I'll tighten those down tomorrow. It's getting a little bit dark. This camera is really good with low light, but I know that low light kind of distorts the image a little bit, so it's not gonna make for a good video. We'll pick back up with you guys tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and install this Diamond Eye 5-inch exhaust. I'm super excited to hear how it sounds. I did a before clip. You guys will see that at the end of the stock exhaust, and then we'll see what the exhaust sounds like with the turbo and the 5-inch exhaust. So guys, definitely stay tuned for tomorrow, and we'll see you then. All right, guys. I've been running around all morning trying to get the final parts that I need for the turbo. I ended up losing the bolts that came off of the bigger turbo for the oil drain, and they're not the same size as stock, so I couldn't just reuse the ones that I just took off of the other turbo. So let me turn real quick. I love this little car that I bought. 5-speed manual. Just cruise everywhere. Ooh, what are you doing? Just cruise everywhere. It gets like 26 miles a gallon, 27 miles a gallon. So can't beat. I can't beat it. I got a pretty good deal on it too. But it's in my pocket actually. So this is. So here is the stock oil drain bolt for the turbo, and with the Borg Warner, it's actually 3/8-16. I got inch long ones, so it should be plenty. Need 2 of them. These have like a Torx on the top, which is a little bit better, seeing that the top bolts for the turbo that attaches to the exhaust manifold are already Torx, so I just got some Torx ones, black. Should work, hopefully. Big problem was trying to find the oil drain line gasket. I was gonna reuse this one just because I didn't have a gasket, and my stupid self, I went ahead and peeled it off of the oil drain and broke it. So I had to spend $20 on a whole kit, which I just need the gasket out of it. I already have the exhaust manifold gasket. I guess I can replace the O-rings, or at least the ones that fit. There's like 3 or 4 in here. But I really just need the gasket, so I just paid 20 bucks for a gasket. I could have bought this gasket, the material, and cut it out myself. But I'll use that, I guess, sometime. I don't know. But we got all the stuff we need, so we're gonna go head back to the house, finish up with the turbo, and then we can start on the exhaust. All right, guys, so majority of the straight pipe is done. You guys just saw that I installed the compression housing on the turbo, so we got that back from the powder coat. I went and threw this alternator brace on, and I accidentally stripped out the bolt on the back, so I'm gonna have to get a tap and re-tap it. There was just too much powder coat in there, and I was trying to tighten it, and it ended up stripping it out. So we're gonna have to deal with that later on. Just get a new tap, re-tap it, and then thread a new bolt in. So that's not big of a deal, but we did get the turbo compression housing on, the intercooler tubes on this side in. The powder coat on the turbo doesn't look as smooth because the casting of the turbo itself. We didn't go ahead and sand that down smooth, so you're gonna see the little casting marks in it. Not a big deal. It looks awesome. Super happy to have it back and actually in this truck now. All the rest of the parts should look pretty dang good when I get the rest of them back. I should be getting them back here this week because they were working on them the same time they were working on that, but I needed that for this video, so they went ahead and knocked it out. But as far as the exhaust goes, I still have to tighten up the clamps. We're not going to be able to adjust the back end of this tailpipe until I get the bed back on. The bed won't go back on for a couple more videos because next video I have a part that I need to have the bed off of the truck, so that's why it's off. You don't need to do it with installing an exhaust, but it definitely helps. You're not crawling around underneath the truck. You can actually do everything from the top here, and then we can adjust this once we get the bed on if I want it lower. If I want it lower than the bed, the bottom of the bed, or up close to the bottom of the bed, we'll just have to do that. All I got to do is loosen up this clamp right here, and I'll be able to turn this and position it the way I want. But for now, for this video, it is good to go. But another thing, we won't be able to really put this in position, the tip, until we get the bed back on, because I'm not sure how far to cut and where everything's gonna line up. So we'll just put it on there right now. Don't really want to get fingerprints on this because once it heats up, it like burns them in from the oils of your skin. But we will just put this on barely enough. It's gonna stick out really wide, but it's just for the concept of the video. So I think that's gonna look super sick when the bed is actually back on. You got the diamond eye right there. Super happy they sent this exhaust. But let's go ahead, we'll tighten this down and we'll start the truck up. I'm gonna actually tighten up the rest of the clamps just so we don't have any exhaust leaks. And then we'll go ahead and start this thing up and see what it sounds like. I've never had a truck with an aftermarket exhaust with a muffler on it. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it sounds compared to stock. And I know I was kind of bummed out that it actually came with a muffler, but now we can actually make a video comparing a muffler on a 5-inch straight pipe with a muffler delete, so it's completely straight 5-inch like I had on my other truck. I know that truck is super loud, but it's gonna be interesting to see in one video how they sound comparing to each other. So I'm gonna go ahead, tighten up the rest of the stuff, and then we'll go ahead and start this baby up and see what it sounds like. Okay, first start with the new turbo. The new turbos from the old truck and the 5-inch diamond eye exhaust. And hopefully that alternator bolt holds in there. Dude, sounds good with the muffler. Sounds really good. It's not too loud, but it's not quiet either. And I've always wanted to know, like, before that exhaust gets too hot, or the tip gets too hot, I've always wondered, like, does a tip even make a difference of the sound? So we'll go ahead and give it a quick little rev so the alternator doesn't come off. And then we'll take the tip off and rev it again and see if it sounds any different with a tip on or a tip off. Because I've never really noticed, I've never really known if a tip made a difference of the sound. So, oh my gosh. That sounds so mean. Dude, it sounds good. That turbo. It's got a really good, like, deep sound to it. Sounds really good. Ooh, hoo, hoo. So you might be able to tell from the GoPro footage the difference in sound. Let's give it a little rev. I don't know if I can tell the difference or not. There may be a slight difference. It may just make the sound a little bit more clear because it's kind of sounding a little bit fuzzy. I don't know how to explain it, but I think adding a tip actually makes the exhaust sound a little bit more clear. Doing a couple little revs with the tip on and the tip off, I think the tip makes it sound a little bit more clear. If you guys are curious if a tip makes a difference or not, I think from my hearing, it makes it sound a little bit more clear. But that is the Diamond Eye Performance exhaust, 5-inch straight pipe. Has a 4-inch downpipe because I don't think they make 5-inch downpipes. I'm not sure. But we got a 4-inch downpipe to a 5-inch straight pipe with an inline muffler in it. And who knows, I may keep the muffler on there because, you know, as I get older, you know, you kind of go away from loud trucks, and I think a 5-inch exhaust with a muffler on there sounds pretty dang good. It got that real deep, girthy noise, but it's not really too loud just idling right here. You know, I'd have to take it for a test drive, which my transmission, not going for a test drive. But anyway, the 5-inch exhaust from Diamond Eye, I appreciate them sending it out. This video was not going to be possible without them. This turbo was not going to be able to be put on without them, so big shout out to them. I'm super happy that I got this back. Still waiting on the valve cover and my intake box. I already have my intake horn, my other intercooler tube, and we had that back already. So waiting on a little bit more parts. We should be able to get those back here this week, so guys, definitely stay tuned. No leaks coming from the turbo, so that's good. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Go check out Diamond Eye. I'll put their link down below. Huge shout out to them, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Dippin' Diesel out.